Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTube. In case you were wondering, the third wheel is you. It's date night. It's date night for us. And we brought you along.
So the moral of this video is we love doing live videos, but we can never figure out when to do live videos. There just never seems to be the right time. And so we were saying, well, we could do one right now, but as you know, I'm watching this camera be a little not so smooth and it's getting dark. I'm like, there's just never a good time. There's never a good time.
Yeah. A little while ago, we did a live video. Maybe it was our last one, second to last one. And it was right after another video released. And then it seemed to really interrupt the push out of that video. So now we're like, you can only do a video or a live video right before you release a different video.
There's no tzatziki?
No.
We got Greek food. The kids are at Grandma and Grandpa's for sleepover, and we ordered Greek food as like date night treats. Because we're not doing restaurants, but we're doing takeout. And also because Ian's like, why would I want to be anywhere but here?
Yeah. Serena was trying to con me into some
I was
sort
like,
of
let's
picnic.
go on a picnic.
I was like, why?
Where we live, it's called Lake Country because we're surrounded by lakes. Like it's as picturesque as it sounds by the name. And so I was like, maybe we should go to a lake and have
I can
a
literally
picnic.
see two lakes right here. Two. Today was market day, and we've had a rough couple markets. Like our last two have been selling. They both sold like right around $580. And considering we were aiming for $1,500 markets during the peak of summer, $580 markets in August was very disappointing. But this week we rebounded a bit and got $740. So I was pretty happy with that because that's in the range that we've been doing.
We did as good as we've done, which is still nothing to brag about.
It's pretty funny because I sold a lot after the market closed. Because I'll text Serena at the end, like I make up this little like this is me recording. Oh, I don't know if you can see the screen. I just write down on a paper bag all of the transaction numbers just so that I have a record and I can see, you know, what the numbers look like. And I ended at $673. So I text that to Serena at 1:02. The market closes at 1. And then at 1:04, I text her 688 with my updated number. And then immediately 7:02. And then at 1:17, I text her 7:22. And then at 1:30, I text her 7:40. That was the final one. I just kept getting these people coming by, and I do kind of count on it. You sell before the market, and you can sell after the market, especially when you're selling food. All the vendors who sell, you know, like knickknacks and stuff like that, they pack up really quick and they get out of there. And I kind of like leave a nice spread of food out there, and I start working on some of the other stuff.
Yeah, we're
the
we're there. We're here. We're staying until the bitter end.
Because there's always people who show up late and they're like, oh my god, I need to get everything, and they're big spenders and they're quick and easy to deal with. They're just like, what do you have? I need it. And I'm like, well, I have this. And they're like, yes, I'll take 2 of those and give me some of those. And it just, you know, so
yeah, like you did like $100 after the market ended.
Yeah. We sold some sunflowers today, which is good. If you've been watching,
I'm just gonna interrupt for a second. I see you guys are asking some questions about pests. We are like, literally as soon as we're done this live video, we're gonna go edit a video all talking about what we do for pests and disease, because I've been getting like that question nonstop. So I'm not gonna regurgitate it, but it's coming, like probably like 2 days. Sorry, I don't know what you were saying.
I was talking about the sunflowers because,
oh, okay, yeah.
you know, the sunflowers are one of the things that we can actually make money on.
Yeah, we make good money on sunflowers.
Because they bunch up so quick in comparison to, picking filler, picking greenery, picking focal flowers, getting them out of the sun,
yeah, the
bringing them
sunflowers,
out,
they grow super
making
easy.
bouquets.
They pick super easy, and they so they're pure money.
But the last 2 markets or so, they haven't sold really well. And last week we only brought 1 bucket because of it. And I've been putting the bucket, I've been trying to catch people with it by like putting it out into the laneway a little bit, like kind of in front of our booth and at the far end. Everything has one-way routes at our market right now. So there's like on the far ends, there's 2-way routes, and then all the aisles are one-ways. So all of our traffic is coming from one way, so you kind of like set it up to present to that direction. And I had the sunflowers on the ground, but I think people weren't seeing them because that works okay sometimes, like to have more of a selection out there for the people. But today I put the second bucket like on display kind of like next to me, and probably 2/3 of the attention that went towards the sunflowers, whether they bought it out of that bucket or they bought it out of the other one when I showed them, oh, you have one right next to you as well. But about 2/3 of the attention for the sunflowers came from initially the one that was right next to me up on the table. So maybe last week people would have bought sunflowers had I merchandised them better. I also made, like, I did Zucchini Mountain this week, which I like.
You should explain what Zucchini Mountain is. That's jargon.
Yeah, I was going to explain what it is. So Pile It High and Watch It Fly is like one of the core theories of selling anything as a merchant. And people get attracted to food when they see a big pile of it. You can be selling carrots, just like carrots. Everyone's buying carrots. And then you're like, I only have 2 bunches of carrots left. And everybody's like, oh, those look gross. they're the same carrots.
Yeah.
But they look gross to people now. Zucchinis we sell for $2 or 3 for $5. Zucchinis can be tough because, we have a great climate for growing them. And we do sometimes compete with people who sell them for $1. And we just...
Or 50 cents. But ours are beautiful. We handle them very gently. So when they get to the market, they're like shiny and pristine. Whereas the people who obviously are valuing their zucchinis at 50 cents are not treating them like we're treating our beautiful, expensive $2 zucchinis.
We also do, like, you can have a patty pan that's this big and it's $2, or you can have a big, fully mature green one that you can use for zucchini bread for $2. And they're all included in the 3 for $5. And our 3 for $5 mixes with our cucumbers, which are also $2. So, it's an easy sell if people want it, but when you're competing with really cheap prices, it can be tough. But they look so good. Like, we have some really good looking ones. And today I brought a lot of them down, and I was like, I'm gonna put them all out front, all right off the bat. And so
this is probably like coming close to the end too.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be too many more weeks of zucchini
for us. So
or anyone else.
Yeah. And then midway through the market, I forgot that I put absolutely everything out. And I was like, where's that tote that has those zucchinis? And I was like searching for it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I put them all out. I was like, whoa. So they actually sold pretty well today.
How much did you take down?
There was 3 totes or 3 of the black harvest baskets, but they were over full, and they have to stack, so I spread it out into like some more.
Like 4?
Yeah, like 4. But it made a nice pile. And then I put the cucumbers next to it, and we didn't have as much cucumbers this week for sure. And last week...
Okay, well, there. I can talk about that. And then Ian can have a chance to eat.
I'm hungry.
So, I did promise we were going to eat with our mouthfuls in the write-up.
We were going to talk with our mouthfuls.
Yeah, both, clearly. Yeah, so... It, like... So for climate here in Kelowna, we have really, really beautiful Septembers. It feels like it's not summer anymore because it's back to school time, and September rolls over. It feels like Starbucks starts advertising pumpkin spice lattes and all that. But we still have beach weather. It's hot. Like today was like 34 was the high. I think it was hot today. Just the nights start to get a little bit cooler. But at this point, even though we still have all the summer stuff's producing like crazy, it does start to slow down. So, 2 weeks ago, I was picking 3 baskets of cucumbers for the week. At this point, I'm picking about 1 basket of cucumber. That's not a problem because
last week we sold all our cucumber last week.
Did we?
Yeah, we only had 2 left.
I don't think we had 3 baskets though. But yeah, we're producing less. We were producing more than we could sell, so it's not like I'm stressed about it.
Well, peak production happened during those 2 markets that I was talking about.
Peak
There were
production
stinkers.
happened on those markets when nothing sold, which was like extra disheartening. We'd send down $2,000 worth of product. Like the truck would be just stuffed. We had there's like 80 bouquets and they're the best looking bouquets of the entire season, and we have tomatoes, we have like all these mountains of tomatoes and everything's beautiful and it's all the best stuff, and then we like sold nothing, right? Like I think for flower bouquets, this is like a good number for explaining what's going on with sales this year. I need to do 50 bouquets to like be happy with what's going on with the flowers because they take so long. So I need to like make $500 on flowers a week. So I'm sending down 50 or 60 bouquets, and Ian was selling about 35. So that's not the number, but it's also close enough to the number that it's like, okay, like I can see 50.
Yeah, well, then the
doable.
next day,
well,
from the
no,
roadside.
just let me, because that. But the issue is that on those like really frustrating weeks, the number of bouquets that we're selling dropped down to like 15, like 18.
It was really bad.
So it was like we were sending this truck just filled, and it was like coming back, and I was like, what even sold? And one of our biggest sellers like all year, and it was the same case last year, is carrots. And so Ian's like, we had some really beautiful carrots last week. Ian made me harvest like a stupid amount, and we sold nothing on carrots. Like no one wanted carrots. So, just really frustrating.
This week we sold out on carrots over an hour away from the end of market.
Yeah, which is like, that's the dream. The dream is to send $2,000 and then to sell out of like almost all of the $2,000.
One thing that I think about, because our area is like very agricultural.
We might have to move. It's getting pretty dark.
Yeah. So, like, there's a lot of orchards right behind us. There's a cherry orchard across the street. There's apple orchards. There's orchards all through this valley. There's also wineries. We're probably, American speak, we're probably 5 miles away from 4 wineries. Maybe there could be like 10 if there's a bunch of small ones or something like that. But there's a lot of wineries in the Okanagan. I think there's 200 wineries in the Okanagan, something like that. And they do some really good stuff. The point is, people have this like tradition here of growing vegetables, like, as well. Lots of people who have property have tomato plants and peppers and basil and flowers as well. So one thing that I hear a lot at the market is people are like, oh, I have this stuff already. I'm just coming to you for, like the carrots. Because carrots
people be like, I grow my own tomatoes because they grow so easy here. They're like, but I'm gonna buy your carrots.
And so I wonder if during like that peak season, because like the joke is, the joke is like this everywhere, but your neighbor with the zucchini and they're trying to pawn it off on you, or the tomatoes and they're trying to pawn it off on you. So you hear those stories all the time, and maybe people are just getting.
I also feel
there's
like,
just too much in the area.
I feel like people who tell those stories are people who don't eat zucchinis. Because never in my life has someone been like, I'm drowning in zucchinis, take my zucchinis. But, I also know people who like sit down and eat like a mountain of zucchini.
Yeah, well, you would entice the mailman to come like check out your zucchini plants.
Yeah, I'd be like, come see my plants. I'm not gonna give you free zucchinis, but.
You have a crazy cat back there?
Sounds like it. Okay, let's move. Let's go into the building. Right?
Okay, you take the camera, and you.
I can.
And I'll do the switchies.
Okay. Okay. It's
getting too dark, and our camera keeps refocusing. So we apologize. We thought this would be good.
All right, here. Let's get my. Okay, I can't read any of these comments because this is too much multitasking. I'll try not to make you guys throw up and keep this as smooth as possible. So back at the beginning of this video, what I was saying is we love doing live videos, but we can never, we're always like, oh, it's like 12:30 at night. Maybe we should do a live video because I don't know when we'll be able to do a live video next. And so we were like, you know what? The kids are at Grandma Grandpa's. We could like do a live video, and then we schedule it and we like set up our food. And then we sit down and it's like, oh, it's like getting super dark. It might also just be it might not even so much be the camera. It might be that my internet is fighting me too. I was up late making bouquets. Here's all my leftovers. All my leftover bouquet carnage. Yeah, we're having Greek food for dinner. The kids are gone. We didn't want to cook because we're tired, and it makes it feel like a date night when someone else cooks for you. So we got takeout Greek food. Here's the last. I'll show you stuff before Ian comes back. This is the last of the seedlings. This is my lettuce that finishes us up for seedlings in 2020. But very exciting is up here, these little weird looking things. These are 2021 vision, growing stuff for the next calendar year, which feels insane. Yeah, okay. Ian's trying to figure out where we can eat because my table's a mess. But we have this cat hair covered couch. Thank you. Let's see. I'm all blind. Bring this in. Okay, there we go.
Back in business?
It's not as scenic as it was when we first set this up.
Yeah.
Just tilting this a little bit. Okay, there. How's that?
Apologies.
Okay.
Everyone, apologize for wasting your life there.
It wasn't a complete waste. I got to see my seedlings. As long as I didn't make you guys all motion sick. Ha, it's all Greek to me. Dinner is. We got moussaka. Anything with eggplant and like cream sauce cooked until it's like hard. Like that's a pretty awesome idea. Whoever came up with that.
I'll give people deals if they're like, "Ooh, do you have any eggplant?" If they ask me without even seeing eggplant, I'll usually be like, "You know what you're talking about." I told some woman today that everyone else in the world doesn't know what they're talking about because like nobody buys eggplant. It's like the worst thing to grow and try to sell, and I just don't get it because it's so good. So I was like, she was the first person to ask for it all day.
People don't know.
You and me, we have a connection.
People don't. Oh. Okay. I don't know. I was trying to read comments here. Favorite lettuce to grow: Salanova.
Yeah.
Sweet green crisp, specifically.
Yeah, the sweet green crisp grows probably to 2 or 3 times the size of some of the red ones in a similar amount of time. Serena's bringing a tray of it back. And
this one. This is the best lettuce. Green sweet crisp.
like the butter crunch is good, but I like the green sweet crisp. I like the texture on it. It's like the leafy part is really like soft and sweet. And then it's got the kind of like the stem part down the middle that's very crunchy and significant.
Yeah, like a romaine.
Yeah.
It's got the texture of a romaine, but then it's like a frilly sweet, and the flavor is like a butter lettuce, where it's like super sweet, super tasty. It's really good. It doesn't grow well in the heat, though.
It definitely slows down. But in the spring, people will be like, people will see it, and I'll be like, do you want to see how big this is? And pull it out, and it'll be this wide across, and kind of like a triangle shape. And I'll just like pull it up, and they'll be like, oh my god. Some people won't buy it because they're like, I'm only one person. I couldn't possibly eat that. But
I mean, ideally they shouldn't get that big because you can sell it before it gets that big. It's just
they seem to get that big pretty quickly.
One of our crazy cats is circling.
Yep.
Okay, I want to finish the point though about the frustrating thing, because we're obviously, because I read back, we're not quitting, we're not like stopping. It's just, this is our second year of farming. We need to keep tweaking and changing things so that it works in the future. And I'd say the core of my frustration comes from the fact that I don't know what I need to change to make things different for next year, because I don't know what of this year is things that we're doing wrong and what of this year is things that are just, it's a crazy COVID year. So it makes it really hard for me to make these like educated guesses of what I need to improve for next year and the years to come, so that we can get our farm to the point that it is profitable. Just because it's hard to know what the actual issue is. So like, even though we're not selling what we'd like to sell, it's not like, oh well, we're gonna stop. The goal for the business is to be profitable by year 5, and this is only year 2. We obviously have a lot more money to spend to make it even more difficult for ourselves to be profitable. But like, we're still just, going through growing pains. It's hard when everything's producing like crazy, and then Ian and I are like getting tired because we've been working like our butts off since, like March, doing this all day, every day. And then, the day you think is going to be the busiest day of the year ends up, being the worst day of the year. And it's discouraging. Yeah. But, like, doesn't matter. You saw my seedlings. Like, we're going. Like, eye on the prize.
Well, for the last 2 weeks, we've sold, well over $400 just in front of our house.
Yeah. And like this, we've been salvaging our bad market days.
Yeah. So our markets have been down, but we've been, last year I think maybe we sold $250 out front 1 week. We had weeks where we'd sell, like when we started, we were selling 100, 120. Oh, did we make it to 100 today? Like, ooh, that's not bad. Because we're just building up the business, and now we put our signs up there, and people are like, oh, you're like open again today. I was hoping you'd be open today, because they're repeating customers, or people that go and shop in our carport through the week, which we have merchandise with food. They're like, oh, come pull over and chat with you and grab some more carrots. I'm out of carrots or whatever it is, right? But we are building up the business, and so it grows, and also like it looks really good.
Yeah, and like so I was specifically talking about sending 60 bouquets down and selling like 18 of them. So then Ian brought home 42 bouquets, which is like last week. It's like and the week before, because last week I think he sold 18, the week before I think he sold 15. So he brings it home. If I don't sell it on that Sunday, like
you can't sell it after that.
I can't, or well, I won't sell it after that. Is the better. Like they're still good. They'll still last for a week, but on Sunday, anything past Sunday, they start to get into that range where I'll give them away to people, but I won't charge money for them. But so we had so many, we didn't know what to do with them. And so we did a deal because we just needed to get rid of them, where if people, they were 3 for $20, because normally they're 10. And then we pretty much because we sell lots of flowers out in front of the house on the Sundays. And most people pull over buy a bouquet, but we found that almost every single person who pulled over went for the deal.
Yeah.
Like they stopped to spend $10, but we got the 20 out of them. And I can't afford to sell my bouquets at that $7. I can't afford to sell them at that price point, but I was able to
at least recoup.
Yeah, I was able to like make our daily sales $150 more than it would have been for this product that would have gone to waste.
At that point, it becomes a sunk cost, and it.
Yeah. So basically, like people who stopped, who wouldn't have been the people to get the free bouquets that I tend to give out on like Mondays, because they would have already shopped with us on Sunday, whereas it's the person coming and shopping on Monday who like will get one if I'm around and I have any. So they got the benefit of my leftovers as like a nice gift, and then we upped our sales and ended up actually doing really good, getting like our goal is we need to sell at least $1,000 from the 2 market days.
Yes, it's kind of funny. It's a fairly frequent pattern. I'll come outside and see Serena, and she'll be, playing a game on a phone or, doing something for the market, but nobody's there. And then she'll be like, "Oh, I need to go like harvest some more beets. Can you watch the stand for a few minutes?" And I'll be like, "Sure." And then she'll like walk away, and somebody will pull over, and then like 2 more cars will pull over, and then like all these cars, there's all this action, and I'm just like busy the whole time she's gone. And then she comes back, and like the stand looks way different. There's like all these flowers that have sold.
Yeah, I'll be like, people just don't like me apparently.
It's happened
multiple times.
multiple
times. Pull over for me.
One thing that I wanted to try last year.
I'm like,
sorry, we weren't seeing your comments.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't know what's going on.
So
I don't know if you guys just weren't talking, or the comments weren't showing up. Wow.
It's a running gag between us.
So here, cash. So we do e-transfer. E-transfers are like a really common, you buy something like from someone on like a classified site, and you like send them an e-transfer. People like use e-transfers in our area, and so we don't have to take cash. We do e-transfers too.
But we are taking cash.
We do take cash, and like because the person was saying, "Oh, I don't have cash on me. I haven't been using cash," and I am surprised because we're not using the cash either. But yeah, people seem to still.
You're going to the market.
Yeah.
You're gonna have cash. We are very lucky in the interior of BC to not really have any bad COVID outbreaks right now. So, with the e-transfers, it's kind of funny. People, because I don't want to lose the sale because people don't only have a card, right? Like I lost a sale today because of that. But I'll always be like, oh, like we do e-transfers as well when they're like, oh, do you only take cash? And and then I'll be like, oh, you can do an e-transfer when you get home, because I actually kind of like it when they do it when they get home, because sometimes people stand there and it takes a long time to go through your phone, and there's different kinds of action that bring people to your market stand. If it looks like if somebody just kind of like starts shopping there's a good chance that someone else will start shopping there right away as well. But if you're like in this deep conversation with someone, then people will maybe shy away from you because they don't want to interrupt this. And another one is if somebody's like staring at their phone doing like an e-transfer, you might not get anybody else to come to your stand while that person is like fumbling with their phone. And it takes, a couple minutes to do an e-transfer. It's a bit annoying. So I just tell people, I'm like, you can do it when you get home. Or when you get back to your car.
Most of our regulars do it from home, too.
And then people will be like, that's so trusting. And then I'll be like, it's Canada.
The other day, because we have it so you don't, like, it's, I don't know, whatever. But the other day, it's like the middle of like late night, it's like 10:30. And I have started leaving the light on in our carport because it's getting darker early. Like to me, like 8 o'clock is a totally reasonable time to still want to grab groceries. So I've started leaving the lights on so people can come, and also so I can get into the habit for when it's like 5 o'clock and dark. Don't want to lose those customers. But yeah, so it's like 10:30. We're like laying in bed. And Ian's like, I just got like an email about an e-transfer, like for like $15. He's like, is someone like out there like grabbing stuff? And I'm like, no, I'm like, yeah, we get those all the time. Like one of the regulars will stop by and be like, oh, I totally forgot last time. So like I have to send you $10, not $5, because I owe you for like another $5 that I forgot to send. But I was like, yeah, it's probably just someone like going to bed or like having a snack on the carrots that they grabbed and being like, oh wait, I forgot to send the money.
We don't do any like codes or anything to speed it up, but we did get rid of the password, because last year it was annoying when we did this, because I'd have people would send the message and the password would be, what did I buy from you? And I'd, Serena would have sold it to them at the market, and I'm trying to like figure out this password 5 hours later, and I never even dealt with this person. And then it would be like, okay, you like flowers, and then you get it right or whatever, deposit the money, and then you have another one, and you had like 5 passwords to guess after each market, and then somebody told us, they're like, oh, you can just do it for automatic deposit. It's really easy. I'm like, well, yeah, that is a lot easier, actually. that saves a lot of time.
It also is like, makes it a lot easier, too, for when people mess up the email. Because on occasion, people, it says, like, whenever I send people the email for it, I always do it capitalized, because it's under Ian's name. And it can, lowercase, like IAN, can look like LAN. So I think, like, sometimes... like people just like, mistype it. But if so sometimes we get like, I'll get like a message and someone's like, oh, just like wanted to let you know the password is this for the e-transfer. And then I'm like, okay, we have an issue. if you put in a password, then you probably like messed up the email. But it definitely is a cheap way to get a customer who feels connected to us.
I got an e-transfer today for $2. Because they bought some flowers, and they're like, they had $8, and then they asked their friends if some of their friends had cash, but none of them had cash. And I was like, it's fine. If somebody's like legitimately making an effort to buy something, if she didn't have $8,
yeah, like get me next time.
I'd be like, yeah, like we'll be here every week forever. Like I'd rather build relationships with customers, and I find that trusting customers, it makes it feel like everybody feels like a person, right? Everybody wants to be in that world where we trust each other a little bit more.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second because this is an important question. Oh. No, that's fine. Bennery's Giant is the #1 best zinnia because it's super disease resistant and it gets these like massive punchy flowers. So that's, if you're gonna get one, that's the one.
And then this woman, she was like, no, I'll give you the $8 and then I'll do an e-transfer for 2. I was like, you can just keep your $8 and do your 10. She's like, nope. I'm like, whatever. Money's money. I'll take it anyway. But then later on, it like my phone ticks and I look at it and it's like, automatic $2 deposited. And
we get like tips all the time. We have the best customers ever. People will be like, oh, you know, it's $8 here, just like take the 10. And I'm like, I literally have like change in this jar for you to like take your change. They're like, no, you guys work so hard. I'm like makes me question what kind of drama we're putting into our videos that people like feel like they have to like donate to us.
You know, I got a tip today because I
appreciate it.
One came out.
It makes me feel good that people are like, you deserve it.
I'm like, I do deserve it. I have been working hard. I deserve this. I got a $1 tip today. That was my only tip. Somebody had an order of $24 and they gave me $25.
Like, you don't.
Here's your loony.
You don't like tip the grocery store clerk. Like, I think it's like crazy that people tip us. Like a $1 tip is like crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a story about why to tip people that like if you feel they deserve it. I'll like remember this story to my grave. Like this thing that happened to me that I'm sure like wasn't a big deal for the person who did it. So I'm gonna tell a story and it's gonna take forever, so I better chew the food in my mouth first. So I worked at a shoe store. Like I worked at a shoe store for like years and years. And there was like no set time to go for lunch. It would be like, we can all like, it just has to be like one at a time. So like, you know, it's like who's hungry first. But so it's not like, oh, I have a lunch break and I like work through my lunch break. But this lady came in and she's, I'm helping her buy shoes and, you know, like I spend an hour with her and she's like, oh, I feel so bad. This is like your lunch. You should be like working on it. Like you shouldn't be working with me. You should just like go for your lunch. And I'm like, there is no lunch. It's fine. Like I'm not like wasting away. Like my hands aren't shaking from lack of food. But she was like, oh, I feel so bad. Oh, I take your time. Like she bought a bunch of shoes. She was like super polite, super nice. And then she goes and I go on my lunch and she had like gone to the like smoothie store near our shoe store and had like bought a smoothie and was like, I just wanted to give this to you to say thank you for all the work that you did helping me like find these shoes like through your lunch break.
Thank you for your shoe service.
Yeah, thank you for your service. And like how nice is that? That is like so nice.
That's pretty nice.
Right? Like so nice. 100% appreciate. Like people appreciate the
Apparently
tips.
there was a question about do we sell seeds, and nope. We will.
You guys, come on.
We have no time. we give. I mean, I'm not gonna say if you came to our house, we'd give you seeds, but we like if somebody's like, oh, I need this, it's like,
Oh,
here's some seeds.
someone bought us a smoothie.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate tips. Now I feel a little bit bad. Kind of like the tips at the farm stand. Like you guys don't have to, you know. But we really appreciate it. We do appreciate it.
We do appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I don't sell seeds. I'm not gonna sell seeds.
Yeah.
If you hear me talking about selling seeds, that's because I'm a crazy person and I talk about doing everything except for jam. I will never do jam. You guys keep telling me I need to do jam. I'm not gonna do it. That's another story though. But yeah, so our seed sources for buying seeds, which I highly recommend. If you're in Canada, William Dam Seeds is really good, but they only sell in Canada. And then if you're in the States, but they also have really good international shipping.
There's this young upstart company, Johnny Seeds. You probably haven't heard of them.
They're really good. They have like amazing options. Flower seeds for flower farming specifically. This isn't like home gardening. And I don't recommend starting a flower farm because people keep telling me they're starting flower farms because of me, and then I feel a little guilty. Because it's a good way to spend lots of money.
No.
Geoseeds. But Geoseeds, which is in the States, is where I buy my flower farm seeds. And then the other place that I like, which I don't know if they sell to the States or not.
Van Nort?
Is West Coast Seeds. Yeah, and we buy our bulbs from Van Nort, which sells retail at like our local nursery. But if you're like a business, then you can buy wholesale from them. But that, yet again, that's a Canadian company. Like I don't have a ton of recommendations. You know, sometimes.
Well, Johnny's has almost everything.
Johnny's is great, but we do struggle a little bit on what to recommend because I know so many of you are down in the States because we get little analytics on it. And we're in Canada. Same for shipping. Like just Canadian shipping is not the same as American shipping. It's I can't just like throw something in the mail to you. Like I got my Geoseeds catalog today and like felt bad because the postage on it for them to get it to us was $5.
Whoa.
And that was like the like not like $5 worth of stamps.
They know, sucker.
Well, I was like, you guys really like I'm not spending enough to like cover the cost of like printing and shipping this to me. Yeah. So, and then this is my recommendation because I'm a seed snob. So I'm a snob about where I buy my seeds from because they be ripping me off with all their overpriced garbage seeds is what I say to myself when I look at some seed companies. So my rule for like who I will shop from, unless like you have a reason, like, oh, I want to support this company or they have this specific thing I want, is if they don't sell large volume packages, they only have one standard package size, then there's a good chance that they might be a little bit overpriced because it means they're only selling retail. If they don't sell large volumes, they're not selling to farmers. And if they're not selling to farmers, then they're only selling retail. And that means that you can probably find your seeds for a better price somewhere else because they're not selling anything special.
Yeah.
Unless it's someone who's like, I grew this myself. But most seed companies are just buying it from like seed growers and then they're distributing seeds. It looked a lot better before. Like it looked better.
Before I had the...
Yeah.
It's just hard to look at.
Either that or
What'd you do with all the dry flowers?
Oh, I put them away. Ian was going to show off dried flowers to you guys. I think I don't know. Does that look better? Ian's bringing stuff. Ian's bringing stuff to show off.
Yeah. Look, a nice little thing of Gomphrena. We have the makings of more bouquets. Like that. These are like one of my favorite flowers that we're growing this year that we didn't grow last year. I just think they look so cool.
This is like one of those flowers that I make everyone touch it who like comes and looks at it. Okay. Let's be really quiet. I'm going to try to give you the sound of it. Can you guys hear that? Can you hear like the like hard like paper sound that it makes?
Gomphrena is what it's called. With a G.
Or globe amaranth, because I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong. The Gomphrena.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I assume
maybe that's just how we pronounce it, but we're like wrong.
That's me like not remembering how it's spelt and then like garbledy gooping Latin words.
Yeah.
Yeah, so common name globe amaranth.
Yeah, and they like dry and look so similar.
Yeah, we've been loving these. And like the colors, okay, here. Look at that. Like this one, like we keep trying to take pictures of this one. Oh, more tips. Thanks so much. Yeah, okay, so this one here, like you can't even see it on a camera. Like the color is so vibrant that like your eyeballs hurt
when
you look at it in like the sunlight.
when you see it outside, and you know, you just look at it with your eyes, not even a camera. It's like the colors are bleeding.
Yeah.
Like it's impossible to look
Yeah.
at.
They're really cool. They are a pain in the butt to pick though. Like I love them. I'm growing them next year, but I might like okay, so bachelor buttons, cosmos, this like globe amaranth, like you just they're just such like you try to pick it and like you gotta like hunt through, or you just like chop it, but then like you gotta like pick through it and it's like a big tangled mess, and you get these like tiny little, it looks like nothing, so you need a million of it to like make an impression in a bouquet, but it's more work to clean up one of those than it is to clean up a zinnia.
The thing about farming is there's so many tasks that you do hundreds of times or thousands of times that any sort of inefficiency in each individual action ends up being a tremendous amount of time. And so things have to be easy to harvest for us to have a chance at actually making money.
Well, that's not true.
If they ultimate sell, then
because it's not that things need to be easy, it's that things that are highly valued can take more labor, whereas things that are low, so if something has a low value but a high labor like ratio, then like it's impossible to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah. Right?
So like, you know, the big beautiful zinnias, people look at that and they're like, oh, that's worth money. But, you know, last week I picked 4 buckets of zinnias, and then that like tiny bucket that Ian had there. If you were to actually count the number of blossoms, there's probably more blossoms in the globe amaranth than there is in the 4 massive buckets of zinnias.
Yeah.
Right? It's just it doesn't look like anything.
And when you put them in they're cool and they add to the bouquets, but people aren't like, oh my god.
Yeah, no one's like, I'm buying this because
they'll be like, this is a beautiful bouquet, right? But they're not necessarily narrowing in on the Gomphrena as the thing that sold them.
Okay, here. I gotta get examples. We should move it over a little bit because I see what you mean now. It's hard to stare.
We're like, we managed to position the camera so that directly in the line of vision is our Mars Hydro grow light, which is like, you should be wearing sunglasses when you're looking at it, as opposed to all of our other racks of lights that, you know, they're bright, and if you stare at them, you know, it'll look a little bit different, but there's that one light is just like full spectrum, and it's hard to...
I'll unplug it.
Okay. I unplugged it, and then Serena said the light went bad.
But I also think that maybe I'm just blind from staring into it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys just saw the change in light, but I think we're fine.
Okay. So, because I want, like, this is something I think about all the time. And obviously, Ian's heard me say this too many times, so I'm not allowed to say it to him anymore. So I'll say it to you guys. Because as we promised with the title of this video, we're a bad date. Okay, so here. These are 2 bouquets, right? So all of my bouquets are $10. The goal for me is to make money.
Yeah.
Right?
We would like to be a business.
My goal is to make money, right? So I want the bouquets that are the least amount of work that sell the easiest. So this bouquet right here, this has at amaranth 8 zinnias and 3 sprigs of basil in it. So that means that this bouquet has 12 stems. This bouquet here has 8 zinnias, 10 gompphrenas, and like 5 parsley flowers in it. So this one here has 23 stems. So these 2 bouquets, like, so this one, people look at these and they're like, oh, well, this bouquet is like kind of small and dinky, whereas this bouquet, oh, look at this big, huge, oh, like, look, these like broken zinnias. People are like, oh yeah, obviously this is the bouquet that has more value than this bouquet. But this bouquet has almost twice as many stems, which is like twice as much work. So when people look at this and they're like, oh, it's so much smaller, this is only worth $7, but this, oh, you could sell that for 12. It means that I need to ditch this bouquet and make more of these, because these are the ones that are actually making my money. What do you think? Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Is that like, and that's the reason.
You have initiated and concluded a story within 5 minutes. Congratulations. That's a rare feat.
Okay, but this is the thing that's super frustrating. Yeah, I like the smaller bouquet. Exactly. So I've been making this exact bouquet over and over again because this bouquet has been selling. The first week I made this, I sold out of this bouquet, and this bouquet has been consistently selling. Both of these bouquets didn't sell this week at the market.
Yeah.
Like both of
That's
these.
why they're currently here.
This is the biggest, most beautiful bouquet that I said. Like, look at these zinnias. These zinnias are like insane. As I was making this, I was like, oh yeah, that like this is, people are gonna go crazy for these. And then both of these didn't sell, and these ones that I made, and I was like, oh, this is like the dredges. I don't know what to put together. Like, this is some weird bits and pieces. Those are the ones that sold out. And those are the ones that I was like, oh, well, at least they'll dry well. So, I don't know.
Serena was putting tomato greenery with little baby Juliet tomatoes as greenery in some of the bouquets. Specifically with some of the dinner plate dahlias. And those sold. There was one that had these like two beautiful red dinner plate dahlias, big ones on either side of the bouquet, and then it had some greenery and stuff. It was a very nice looking bouquet, and I was like, this is the one that's going to sell first, because usually like I've got hot spots on the table where I'm like, people always grab the bouquet from this spot, so if I put the best looking bouquet in that spot, it's going to sell. And then I just take the second best bouquet and I put it in that spot and it sells. And so my hot spot was this like double dose of red dinner plate dahlias.
I have a single one.
And it didn't sell until about halfway through. Somebody came up and she was looking at it and I was like, this was the one I thought was going to sell like right off the bat. So yeah, two of these arranged in a nice bouquet. And I was like, yeah, this one was the one that I thought was going to be the first to sell, and it hasn't even sold yet. And she's like, well, I better get it right now then. And I was like, yeah, that's the spirit. Support the team.
Yeah, I don't know. So someone's asking about the dahlias, whatever they're called. Careful, we have a spell on this. We planted them because we like them. But like, I want my bouquets to last for a week, and I find in general the dahlias don't last that long. I mean, they last like 4 days. We have one that's in the kitchen and it looks great, and it's been in there for a week, but usually they don't last that long. And part of that is just the dinner plates don't necessarily last super long. There are varieties that last longer, and I think that next year sorry, I'm distracted reading comments. Yeah. Next year I'll try some of those ones that last better, that are like smaller, so they're easier to use in bouquets. But dahlias are a pain in the butt. Like, I love them.
When you have an actual winter and you got to dig the tubers up. Like,
which is like almost everyone, except for like, I don't know, maybe Hawaii. But even then, I feel like maybe they rot during like the wet season. But yeah, like they don't keep well for me, so it's not even like, oh, I dig them up and then like I get all these extra tubers, and so I'm like make money off of them because I can divide my plants for future years. And it's, they're just so much work, and then they only start producing like August, September here before they get killed with October frost. And like our customers aren't like, oh well, this flower's worth $5, even though like all the rest of your flowers are only worth $1. Like no one values them; they just want them for $1.
I think that the dinner plate dahlias are cool because they're like the centerpiece.
I know they're cool,
And
but they like but we don't have to sell them to have them.
We found
right?
we found a different way to sell them this year because we do a nursery sale in the spring, and this year we bought 240 tubers, and our plan was to pot them up in 1 gallon pots,
Some of your rice.
and then grow them for a little bit, and then sell them to at the nursery sale, and they were sold out very quickly.
Yeah, because we only did half. We did 120.
Yeah.
And like gone in like 2 days.
People were like, I want 3 of these, 3 of these, 3 of these, 3 of these. And we're like, sorry, all of those varieties are sold out. And they're like, just give me whatever you have. I'll take it. and so
yeah,
we're gonna be.
It worked really. There's not much that we can have for Mother's Day, is the issue. A lot of the bulbs are done by the time Mother's Day comes here specifically, but there's not anything else that's ready. So this was like the perfect Mother's Day item. Like, like I bought Mom some dinner plate dahlia plants, and they come and they like, spend like $40 and get a set of them as like a present. And so they were easy to sell. They sold well. And then we just have to crunch some numbers to know if we made enough money.
Yeah, but I think we can scale it up and make some money on them.
Yeah,
so
it's
think
a bit of work. They have a cost.
They do.
And I killed some of them.
You killed some of them came and.
But it might have been like a COVID thing.
Yeah, because they shipped early, right?
Yeah.
The company contacted us and was like, we have to send these out like now. We're sorry. So, they went out of their perfect storage conditions into our less than perfect storage conditions. Somebody was asking what our weather is like here for Canada. We have, we're still Canada. We got a winter. There's no way to escape it. But we have, in our little area,
we're eating takeout.
We have the nicest growing.
That's how we prep food.
Yeah. We had the nicest growing season in all of Canada. Hot, dry, beautiful summers. And the spring here is like gorgeous. Kelowna just has it has like very nice weather. It's not like that hot weather that you get down in southern US, but it's so not humid and so pleasant that it's just nice to be outside here all the time. So it's not like it's cold and rainy.
Mandy, we're not crazy like you.
She lives in Alberta?
No, she lives like life goes north.
Okay, yeah. I didn't see the.
Yeah. We have like a greenhouse to make money, not so that we can like grow a head of lettuce before frost comes. But we admire all of you northern growers.
Somebody asked about.
Oh, that sucks. That's a bummer.
Ooh. Somebody asked about how do you keep your cosmos so long? Because cosmos are hard, but the double clicks are the only way, right?
Here, yet again more samples.
Yeah, we got a big old bucket full of cosmos. We'll probably, I'm anticipating a good day tomorrow of sales because we've had 2 weeks where Sunday sales in front of our house have been getting close to $450. And so we have all these makings for more bouquets. I would anticipate that we'll probably have to make some more bouquets tomorrow.
Yeah, we need to pick carrots. We need to make some more bouquets because I have flowers picked, so I might as well.
Yeah. You can do it while you're sitting up there and nobody's stopping, and then I'll go up there and take.
I might even do some tonight. Yeah. Basically, we have to like clean our kitchen,
edit a video
before bed. Obviously, we won't get that done. Okay. So cosmos. Okay, so here's a good example. So this is a Cosmo that isn't like a big full double. And I grew a lot of these like more simple Cosmos last year. For me, the issue with Cosmos isn't even so much of how long it lasts, but it's the fact that taking a flower in by us down to the farmer's market is the equivalent of like doing this to them. Like they have to get handled so roughly. So when you have single petals and you smash it a little bit, all the petals fall off. Whereas if you get these like super full double click, right? So like here, this is a double click looking like
Are you gonna smash it?
what it's supposed to.
I feel
and
the
then
pressure.
You smash it, right? And it maybe drops some petals, but it still looks really good. And so for me, the double click is the one to go for because of all the wear and tear that it can go through before it gets to my customers, the wear and tear that the customers put it through, and then also the exact same just in time. It's going to start to drop its petals, but like you lose some petals, it's still super full. And then the other thing that I do with the Cosmos, just find a good example. So Cosmos are nice because they'll open up in the vase. So this one here, you can see it's like kind of finishing, like it's or this one. This one is like finishing. It's going to drop its petals, right? Like in the vase over the next couple days, it does this. But this one in the vase is like slowly opening. So by the time this drops, it now is just like a yellow ball. And this is now this big, full and open. And then this will do that for a couple days. And while that's happening, this flower here is opening up in the vase at home with the person. So this one stem, it originally had one flower that was open.
3 generations.
Yeah.
In one.
Yeah, so over the course of the week, it will still have one flower that's like open. But yeah, that for me is the value of the Cosmos. And also, like, we can get away with having, like, I can send down flowers that are less than 100% perfect, because we're basically selling flowers to a grocery store customer. We're not selling flowers to a florist who's going to be using them in like a wedding bouquet where that one Cosmo has to be absolutely perfect for that picture, because if not, everyone's going to see like, all the earwigs falling out and crawling over your white wedding dress. Whereas my $10 grocery store bouquets, you can smash them and still sell them.
I sold wedding. They're getting married tomorrow. I sold what's it called? With like the bouquet that
a bridal bouquet?
Yeah, a bridal bouquet today.
Really? One of the bouquets is a bridal bouquet?
It doubled up on 2 of the lighter
the
colored
drapey
ones. Well, I think you had a Florel bouquet, a bouquet with the Florel dinner plate Dahlia, which is the white ones.
Oh, okay.
And there was some other white stuff in it, but there wasn't the super white bouquets like the Cosmos. And
I mean I know the bouquet that Ian's talking about, and it was ratty.
we got 2. I sold them 2.
I mean, like, it was like a 10.
It was beautiful.
It was a beautiful $10, but it was that was like, that like.
Yeah, but nobody's doing big weddings right now.
Well, but it's a $10 bouquet.
They were happy,
right? Like they were happy with it, right? But if you were like, it's $100.
Oh yeah.
They would have been like, I'm not taking this like grasshopper eaten.
It looked nice, and so that was fun. That was a fun interaction.
That is fun.
Because
that's definitely fun.
They were in that we're about to get married. Like they're excited and giddy and tired and nervous.
Yeah.
Like lots of different emotions. So there's lots of different ways to turn the screw on them.
Yeah.
Bug them a little bit. No, I didn't say anything bad.
We like play like pretend bridal bouquet because I make like a bucket of the exact same bouquets. I'll do like 6 of the same thing, and so they're like all in the bucket together. And then there's always one that doesn't sell. Usually the one like today, someone was looking at the bouquets with me, and they're like, oh, this one's kind of bridal looking, you know, and I still have like a bucket of that one left. But so we'll like grab it and grab all of them. So it's like now like 5 bouquets. So it's like this big bridal looking thing. And we'll be like, oh, bridal bouquet picture.
Yeah.
So we have all these funny pictures of like the kids like playing wedding bouquet. Except for Sam. He's always like, oh, over the shoulder, or he does like, you give Sam like flowers and he's like, okay. He does like the flower farmer pose, or he's like, like,
yeah. And he's about to turn 4. He's already got it nailed.
He's gonna be the flower farmer.
But there's one thing that we say about Sam. We've said this about him since he was like very small.
Like an infant.
We're like, Sam knows how things work. He's just watching, and he wants, you know, it's not like he doesn't want to riff on what doing it the right way is. Like he wants to do his own thing. But he knows, he watches you and he sees what you're doing and how you're doing it, and then he's like, don't worry, I got it.
Which unfortunately on his list of things that he's like, don't worry, I got it, is like electrical work.
Yeah.
And
his favorite toy is a
like
lamp.
Knives,
scissors,
all these things that you're like, I prefer if that isn't the thing that you got.
Yeah. And then you'll be like, Sam, you can't do that. And he's like, but I'm helping.
He's
like,
yeah.
He thinks we don't know what we're talking about. And so then when we're like not letting him do this thing that he's doing that's making a big mess, you know, not only are we wrong, but we're like not making any sense to him, because he's like, why? You're ruining all my work. Like,
oh, do you know how long it took me to put all 5 of the sprinklers together?
Yeah.
I'm like working in the farm, and he like comes over, he's like found like a coil of like a hose. Like we've never opened it, it's still like all packaged. And he's like, cut. He like gets me to cut the packing straps off of it, and then like throws the hose over his shoulder, like wanders off. And then I come up to the house, and he's found like a hose T junction.
Yeah.
And he's like connected it to have like multiple hoses like running off the main hose from the house, so you can like water multiple spots at the same time.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. 2 smoothies.
Like
That's a tip for both of us.
Yeah. They approve. I approve of them approving. Somebody was asking about, you know, like not seeing the kids. We don't put our kids in our videos.
Oh yeah, you gotta give the comment spiel.
Yeah.
We try to say this all the time because we know, you know, who's gonna be an hour deep into a video.
Our comments got shut down for some reason because of the kids in the videos, and so we are trying.
It's like it was a mistake, right? Like it's not like we made like
but
content that
we have a bunch of cloth diaper content that we made originally that we don't want to take down, because there's a lot of good information in there.
Yeah, and like our kids were in, like we've made like over 400 videos, and our kids are in 300 of them.
Yeah, like most of our audience is checked in the recent, but like we started a year before we moved here. About that?
Yeah, I think we were looking at it the other day, and we're
like 3 years.
We're 3 years.
Yeah, and there's some like old stinkers, but there's some good stuff. Like it's still us.
Yeah, we went back and we were like, wow. Like looking back at these old videos, I can't believe how like attractive and interesting these people are, and like they really edited this video exactly how I personally would edit this video.
You know who really watches our channel a lot? Us. Like we're like, oh, these are good videos. Yeah. But you know, it's like you go and you watch a video, like or we watch a video from 3 years ago, and it's like, oh, look how small the kids are, look how cute they are. And you know, so for us, part of why we did that is to like have a little storybook. You know, we have videos that we made that were like Christmas videos of the kids opening presents and stuff. Like those are fun for us to watch. And unfortunately, that content has
I mean, who knows? We don't know.
Trip the sensor somehow.
At some point, something, somewhere that YouTube, the computer, knows, but there's no person.
We did
knows?
communicate with someone from YouTube one time, and we're like, oh, we're having this problem with our comments. Like, maybe you could fix it out. And they're like, yeah, just turn your comments back on, and then you just have. We're like, yes, we've done that. Our comments still don't go up. And
they're like, then I don't know. There's something that the algorithm thinks is like inappropriate in your comments.
And then maybe 2 videos later, we had a couple of videos in a row that had comments.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah. And,
the highs and the lows.
We were like, it's back.
The highs and the lows.
They did something. They fixed it. Oh, thank you. And then...
Yeah, and then instantly.
And then...
Because every once in a while, like, a video will slip through for an hour.
Yeah, and people will be like, oh my god, you got your comments back.
Yeah, and I'll be like, they're going to disappear, so we're going to have to, like, write back to these people as quickly as possible, so maybe they'll see it before it disappears. But it's been 2 years, right? Like, we lost our comments, like, coming up on 2 years now. So, yeah, and, like, so someone's saying just go to Facebook to comment. In the description of all of our stuff is our social media links. It's not that we don't want to talk to you. It's just that it's turned off. Yeah. You know, and like sometimes like things like we don't respond to you. It's not because we don't respond to people. It's just, we like, oh, Facebook is like glitchy and it'll lose messages. Or Ian will open it and not respond, and then because it's opened, I'll think that it's been responded to. So, like, you know, we do our best to respond. It's hard to imagine, you know, because our videos have been getting good views lately, and how many comments they get. And you know, when we originally had comments, we would attempt to respond to all comments. And now it's like, if you had a video that had, you know, if you're consistently putting out 30,000 view videos and you tried to respond to all the comments, you'd be sitting on the toilet 24 hours a day. Because I remember right before we lost our comments, we did a video that was like a tour of our house, because we told everyone, we bought this 100-year-old weirdo house, and so we like finally did a tour, and like it hit on some like really bad search algorithms that made it like get really popular, but it was like going out to all these like home decor people, and like obviously our disgusting like, hey, the 100 people like care about what our house looks like, here's our house, is not the video that home decor people were looking for.
Since we've moved here, we haven't even like hung a picture in the wall in our house, I don't think, other than there was one that we bought for $35.
Yeah, we like bought a picture, and we bought it because we're like, oh, this is cool. And then there was like a nail, and we're like, oh, this nail's here.
This is where it goes.
Let's put this here just to like get it off the floor, and then we haven't like touched it since.
Yeah, it's crooked right now. Yeah. The kids were playing with it yesterday. It's in our kitchen. But, you know, we don't pay attention to the house. Like we try to...
Okay, but the point that I was going to make...
Yeah.
We
like home decor people were being really...
So we got like slammed with all these messages of people who were like, you don't deserve your house, and I was like, I can tell you I 100% deserve my house, because there's no world in which any of you would pay what I paid for my house.
Yeah.
And like if I told you guys, you would like poop yourself.
I remember when we first did, like when I first showed up to this place to view it, and there was a real estate agent that seemed like she was very used to being in very expensive, you know, like it's a winery country out here. We have a mansion that's being built just a couple doors down that overlooks us. That's like,
I'm gonna get a charger.
Those like modern flat roof, you know, like gray colored exteriors, big rectangular windows. It's very like modern architecture here. And then we have this 1901 farmhouse that used to be a stagecoach stop and has had all these extensions and has this like weird brick front, and, you know, looks like a lot of work. You know, like what's the foundation like? Who knows?
Okay.
And
I'm gonna clarify, because Ian's not saying this properly. We're surrounded by $1 million mansions, and we are the like the hovel.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
And so she was sitting in the kitchen, and she's like, I like being in this house. And we're like, oh yeah? You don't really seem... She's like, it's so homey.
No,
It's
she's like, it has so much character.
Yeah.
That's the real estate line. This house
It has so much character.
So much character.
And it's like, yes, it does have a lot of character, and yes, you probably do enjoy at this moment spending a short bit of time in here. But realistically, you know, none of her... Yeah, it's charging.
Okay.
You know, she didn't actually... She would never buy or live in a house like the one that we got here. It's a weird house, and those people were like ripping on us pretty hard. And we're
those people did not like us. Those were not our people. And we went and we checked out the videos that were like suggesting our videos, and we're like, whoa! Those are definitely not our people, because we also do not like the people who are making these videos that are sending our way. But yeah, 50,000 views on that video, and it was like 50,000 comments, and like they weren't all like, it wasn't like all like, oh, I hate you, like die. It wasn't like 50,000
of those, yeah.
of those, but it was just like 50,000 of even like a compliment is just like too many, just too many of anything.
So we're a bit stressed because other than live videos,
is it?
A lot of our...
Sorry guys, I just plugged in my battery and I want to make sure that
is charging.
Okay. There.
You know, it doesn't... We don't necessarily have the connection to the audience without the comments like we used to. There used to, when we had the comments, there's a bunch of people, we're just always chatting with them every video. They're making jokes. You know, it's fun, right? It's this fun little community. And when we lost the comments, we were very close to quitting YouTube because we were like, the comments were fun.
Yeah.
That was like one of the major attractions to it. And
yeah, like we started doing social media, first of all, because we wanted people to grow food, and we're like, well, if we like add our voice, maybe someone will be like, yeah, okay, I heard Ian and Serena, and they were like the tipping point. But also it was like a social thing, right? So it was like, oh, we don't have to leave our house, and we like hang out with people.
Yeah.
But you know, and that it like changed it.
Losing the comments, like,
made it feel less social.
It was like, you know, you cast this video out into the world, and then it really hurt. It really hurt our views at the time, because we lost all of our engagement from our comments, and so our views tanked at the same time. And it was like this, you're just tossing these videos into nothing.
Farts into the wind.
And so we stopped. We basically stopped all last summer. Like, we got to a point where we're like too busy.
No, I would argue if our videos are better than they were then, the reason is because we lost our comments, because we were like, whatever, I don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
And then we like stopped like, you know, feeling like we had to get a video out, because like we had to like, you know, have a hangout with all of our friends. And I started only making videos when people, because, you know, I love Instagram, I'm on Instagram all the time, and people would be asking me like the same questions over and over again, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna like go and I'm gonna make a video and I'm gonna give you an answer to this question.
Yeah. It made us feel like we had to be inspired to make a video.
Yeah, it was like okay, no more,
instead of being
no
like,
more,
okay,
no more a video just to hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be a video for a reason, you know, and I think that they're like, obviously this is incredibly fluffy, but I feel like, you know, we do not a bad job of like not like making things overly fluffy. You know, basically our goal is to steal your time with videos. You know,
Serena's a time vampire.
We're both time vampires. You know, like, we make this video because we like want your attention, but But at the same time, we don't want you guys to like give us your time without getting anything out of it.
Yeah, I feel bad if there's a comment that I don't respond to, because it's like somebody took the time to write this comment, and or like we get emails and sometimes I open them and I read them, but then it's like, you know, Daddy, I'm hungry. Daddy, I'm literally starving to death, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, and
then
then life
opening,
happens.
once it's opened, then it's
then
it's like, because our process is you open it, you respond to it right away.
Yeah.
So once it's opened, then like neither of us go back to it because it's opened. So sometimes they slip through, but
and then you feel bad because somebody took this time. So I'm like, I do stress about because we have this pie in the sky dream about our comments where we get to 100,000 subscribers, and apparently
we've heard you get like a contact person.
Yeah, where you can actually interact.
Like have
with
you have
YouTube.
like a person that you can like ask a question to if you need to.
Yeah, it's not like
but it feels like that's probably there's no way there's so many 100,000 channels.
Yeah, but it's not like there's one specific person at YouTube that gets hired. They're like, congratulations, Ian and Serena just made 100,000 subscribers, so we're hiring you for the job. And then they like sit there waiting for us to message them. You know, they have a large portfolio. It's just like you have, at some point in time, you get big enough where you can speak to YouTube and they will speak back to you. And hopefully at some point they can communicate to us what we have to do to get our comments back on. But until that point, like, you know,
don't do that. Don't make 50,000 accounts to subscribe. Like, just go to our other social media and send us. we have the email too if you don't use other social media, because that would be the amount of time that would take. We would.
Oh, time vampire. That would sustain Serena for a very long time.
But for zero value, because the other thing too is it's like, who knows? Like, who knows? Like with YouTube, maybe by the time we like have someone that we're like, hey, can we get our comments back? They're like, oh yeah, actually YouTube as a platform is getting rid of comments in like the next round of like changes. So like, don't even worry about that. It's like, who knows? Like,
yeah, we don't know. So all we have is now.
But that's why we like doing live videos.
Yeah,
or like, why if we put up a video, we put it up and it's not, 3 a.m, we'll do a premiere on it because we always like to chat with everyone. But yeah, it's.
I do have a stress about suddenly having this block of time where we have comments back, and then it's like.
Comments back, and then we get like 4 million, or like they were all there the whole time. Okay, this is like things YouTubers wake up in the night in a cold sweat from. We get comments back, but what's actually happened is the whole time we've had comments off, people have been making comments, they just haven't been showing up. So we like wake up one morning and there's like 5 million comments on our channel, and it's like, ah. That'd be worse than no comments.
I suppose.
But I'm not actually worried about it. But we always end up having like conversations because no one, like, people don't know why the comments are off. It's like weird, right?
Yeah.
So we try to explain what's going on just so people know. Like, it's not that we're like rude and social people.
There's a few videos that have comments on that still have the comments, and if you ever want to communicate with us, you can go back to one of those, and it'll be hilarious. We can talk on our old videos itself.
I don't know. I feel like some of those have disappeared.
Nope.
No.
I
don't even check anymore. I'm just like, there's no comments. But we've tried other ways. Like, I have to manually, default even to do a live chat like this, I have to manually go in to like the other like file to find the spot, and I have to manually turn on chat for the live stream. Like, YouTube has like our defaults even for the live stream set up so that we don't have comments.
Yeah, somebody's saying they comment on 2-year-old videos. But our new videos. Yeah, that's what I want.
Well, Ian's gonna have to check.
You know what I've been interested to see. Last year, one of the videos that we made that started getting some attention for our channel that really blew up was it was like 10 things to plant in September.
Oh, you know what? That is blowing up again.
I know, it's coming back. And so it had a really good September, did good in September, and it still got views in October. And we were like, don't plant these things in October. Follow-up video. And then, understandably, just like dead video. And now it is becoming popular again.
Yeah, it's like our most viewed video in the last few days.
Which is exciting.
Yeah.
We'd like to do...
Also exciting because, I want people to plant stuff in September.
Yeah.
Still lots of time. Depending. Not for Mandy. She's still here.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Unless she needs to, start things now for next year. She's also doing 2021.
If we encourage somebody, then they're like, oh, this year I grew 21 tomato plants instead of the 20 that I normally grow because you encouraged me. The difference there is minimal, but if somebody's like, you guys opened my eyes to season extension, and now I grow food in these months, in the spring and the fall, that I never grew food before, then, that's a more significant difference. So, we're always trying to encourage people to, push the limits, right?
Okay, so someone's asking if what I said in that video still holds.
Yes.
And I'd say so big picture, in general, my goal anytime I say anything into a video is to not have to be actually, now I'd say not to do that. You
want to be right forever.
Yeah, I don't want
I know that.
I don't want records of me talking about something wrongly.
So you could have easily said it still applies.
It still applies. But I'd also say, so that specific video, that was definitely that video was when I put spinach into my kids' smoothies. It was a real fluffy video for my personal opinion of what I like to do in a video, because at no point do I think the answer to what to plant in September is here's 5 things you should plant, these 5 things, because there's no 5 things that every single person, every single place should plant in September. So in that video we literally say 10 things, and we're like, spinach, look, spinach grows good. And then at the end, I explain how to know what you can plant in September, which is you need to find out when your last frost date is, and then you need to know what the days to maturity on the specific plant you want to grow is, and then you do the math.
Calendar math.
Right? So radishes, if they're 28 days, and we're here at the beginning of September and you don't get a frost until end of October, you have tons of time to do radishes. You don't have to worry. But if you live in a place where you get a hard frost in mid-September, then... Oh, look.
Some flowers.
Some flowers.
Okay, some flowers.
Thanks, Ian. Yeah, so there was some actual knowledge at the end of that video, which is plant what works for where you are specifically. Another thing too about this is not about planting in September, but we live in a really weird growing place. So when I try to find information about how to grow specifically where we live, I have a really hard time finding accurate information. I have this book by Curtis Stone. It's about how to be a market gardener in small spaces efficiently, specifically in Kelowna. And that book is really good for me.
Yeah.
That book is an awesome book for me because I can just literally do exactly what the book says. But most of you can't do exactly what the book says because it's specific to the one set place. So, I try to talk about how to do things like in the understand your last frost date, understand your days to maturity, so that the knowledge isn't just like, oh, make sure to turn on your water every day or your plants are gonna die because we don't get rain here in Kelowna, which, you know, then you live in a place where you get like 5 inches of rain a week and your plants are down and you're like, Serena said I had to water. Yeah, so.
Somebody asked about the best, and what's the name of
the book? What? Urban Farmer?
Urban
Farmer? I
Yeah.
think.
If you look up Curtis
Stone, Farmer,
you can find his
or
book.
Market Gardening.
Because he's only...
he has a really amazing info specifically about market gardening on his like YouTube. He has like a lot of older videos that are really good.
And he's only got the one book, as far as I know. So if you find the book, that's it. Somebody asked about ways to eat beets. I like to say...
Number one way to eat beets.
I just cook them a bit.
No, you cook them, and then you put butter on them.
Yeah.
I
put
salt on them, and I don't like salt on them. I like butter on them.
Yeah.
But my new way that I've been eating beets, because I try to do a little bit of like food prep on... Like Saturdays, I'm always like, ugh, zombie Serena, because I stay up till 4 in the morning. So when Ian's gone at market, I usually like try to cook up some food, or like Sunday night we'll like cook up some leftovers. And I've been cooking up like, you know, a bucket of beets, and then I've been having them cold with salad dressing as like a beet salad, and that is...
Yeah, but we didn't make it all the way through the pile that you cooked, so...
Yeah, I'm the only one who's been doing it.
I'd rather eat fresh beets. But beets are
fresh cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't eat them raw ever. We used
to grate them.
Some
into salads, like a heavy cabbage and beet salad.
At some point in our life, we at one time.
Yeah, but we don't do that anymore. Now we...
Yeah, I like roasted too, but it's so hot. We try not to turn on our oven.
And
like we're almost back into oven season.
We also eat a lot of things in a more basic element style. Like we don't really do a lot to the beets to make them delicious. We got a big...
Oh, we have a big fatty fat.
Our 20-pound pumpkin.
Okay, I have to tell you guys this. My favorite thing is when we do the premieres on videos, and then there's like footage of Fatty, and you all, like, it'll be like, oh, there's no one chatting, no one's really saying anything, and then there's all this like, oh, here's like a 2-second clip of Fatty, and then everyone's like, chunky boy, oh, that fat cat, that's the fattest cat I've ever seen. I love how much Fatty blows everyone's mind.
Yeah, he came into our lives a fat cat, and so there's no changing him. You know, he lives in the barn.
Well, I mean, if he got skinny, we'd bring him down to the vet because he'd probably be dying.
Yeah, he's got a bum knee in his hind leg, so he can't really move very fast. And then before we moved here, he lived here in this barn with his brother, who unfortunately we had to put down because he had one of those blood clot things.
No, they said he probably had stomach cancer.
Yeah, but he just got sick and had to go. And they were just big cuddle buddies. They just sat in this big dirty bed when we got here, and they just cuddled all the time. So he's kind of a lonely guy, and we wanted to bring him into the house for the winter time, but he fought with one of our other cats, and
he's like super aggressive. He's like super dominant and aggressive. So Bo was a kitten when we moved here, and then Buddy, you know, as a kitten, we made sure to introduce him like to Buddy when he was a baby because we knew how aggressive he is.
But he fights with our white cat Mew, and then they both pee on stuff. So
they get all territorial.
The Fatty has to live in the barn,
which is like 1,000 square foot house.
Yeah,
he like has his own house,
and
so
our other cats frequently, like Bo and Buddy, will spend nights out here or days out here. So he still has, you know, cat acquaintances. I wouldn't really call them his friends. He's kind of a lone wolf. And
no, okay, so he is not an outside cat. I've seen him like nice hot day in the summer, all the doors are open, and he like uses the kitty litter. because he's like, oh, too far. I drag myself all the way out the door to go to the bathroom.
He will be outside sometimes, but it's not like he's.
Yeah, he like goes to the door and like lays in the doorway to sun himself. Yeah. He's like
his knees.
He's as close as you get to an indoor cat that it like when they're allowed to go out.
He just wants to sleep and cuddle. You hearing cats?
No, the sticker, like, it's like glaring. I'm like, there's a glare on my glasses, but like, I'm like, is that a thing or is that my glasses? Tripping out, man.
Do we get many mosquitoes in Kelowna? Like, not compared to some places.
I mean, less mosquitoes here than everywhere in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Is my assumption. Like, I guess there's probably deserts that are drier than us that don't have
What's our
mosquitoes.
humidity a lot of the times? Like a
0?
No, it's like 15%, I think, usually. If it's 0, then...
You'd have to check your phone. My phone's...
Yeah, my phone's over there.
So
but
far.
We're
very dry. We're not a desert. We're
like
semi-arid. We get 12 inches of rain a year. We read an article. You have to get 10 or less to be a desert. And we get 12.
Yeah.
So.
And it's in June.
Yeah, and it's all in June. So it's the very, very weird weather. Well, and then we get hot. Then like, we'll get up to 100 in the summer.
Yeah. But not for the prolonged periods of time.
Yeah, not for like, 60 days straight.
And it'll be like
we'll get like
a system comes through and it's 100. And then it'll get kicked out, and it'll go down to 80. Like
I don't know. I know what 100 is.
Yeah.
But I don't know what 80 is. 80 feels low. I feel like
no, 80's less.
Not 100. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Tips.
Well, in Fahrenheit.
So these are the horrible dad jokes that Ian brings on the regular.
There's no shortage. We should probably get rolling soon because we do have to clean that kitchen and make that video.
Okay. But first, let's finish our point. Okay.
What's the point?
So, like, we can get up to 40 here, Celsius. It's quite often 30 Celsius. Like, what it was today got up to, like, 34 Celsius. You'll have to do the math. I can't do that one instantly in my head. That's pretty normal. And then we are hot and dry July, August, September. And then we usually get a frost mid to late October. Last year, we're still learning more precisely when our specific frost dates are here, because where we were before, we were really close to a lake, which is big enough to make actual
where we
weather.
Where we were before was probably one of the warmest spots outside of an ocean front area in Kelowna, or temperate spots in Canada, because
we were close to this lake,
Okanagan Lake,
even when we were in this really sheltered spot near this big huge rock close to a big deep lake. So when the cold would come through, even a couple blocks away, it could be more noticeable. There'd be lots of times that I'd turn into my neighborhood and it'd be snowing. When I was driving back from work, and I'd turn into our specific 3-block radius neighborhood, and it would be raining there when it was snowing everywhere else in town.
Where we are now.
And so where we are now
could be a week behind.
No, 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
So the only thing so far that I've been able to accurately track is the lilacs, because I have mental notes for 3 years, and they 2 weeks later here than the lilacs were in our old neighborhood. So that means we're 2 weeks later in the early season. And then I don't know when, what our range is for frosts, because last year it was crazy early. Last year we had a really weird frost come in where it was early mid. It was kind of the earliest it could possibly be to get a frost.
Yeah.
And it came in and it was hard. It wasn't just like, oh, a frost came and it like nipped off half the garden. It was a frost so bad that I was like, out.
Yeah,
I was out in the garden trying to salvage things.
It was like
and
-4,
things were frozen.
-5.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't just like a frost. It was a hard freeze.
Yeah.
And
it killed.
Yeah, killed everything.
We have like a visual. Normally, we have like a little visual cue as to how cold it's getting at night, because we've got a good view down the valley, and you can watch how low the snow level comes.
Yeah, like where the snow is melting off on the hills is a good sign for like when it's gonna start to be warm in the spring. But that doesn't necessarily. That's like not true.
Well, it's not entirely, but it does give you some like heads up warning when you start seeing the snow coming down the mountains or the hills around us, and you can see it, and you're like, oh, it's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming.
I will say this. I know earlier in this video I said I don't like to say things that I don't want to stand behind.
You're gonna embarrass future self.
Yeah,
right
I'm potentially gonna embarrass my future self. But
I'm gonna tell her about this.
She'll be so mad. Like I don't know, like what kind of voodoo, like magic nonsense is going on. But I'm obviously like seeing things, and it's just not registering exactly what I'm seeing. But I think that it's gonna be an early frost again this year. Like I don't know what it is that I'm seeing that's making me feel that.
There is a
and I don't think it's wishful thinking.
We're in a bunch of Facebook groups that are like all farmers. And
I mean, this year's been crazy. This year the weather has been like makes you not want to be a farmer. Scary.
They've been posting about like, what is it? There's a storm in Wyoming that's bringing freezing temperatures.
Yeah, like hard, like hard freeze, like kill the root crops.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if it's 100 degrees. If for 2 days it goes below 0, and then it gets hot again, like stuff's dead. It's too late. Yeah.
There's definitely like there's signs. I just don't know what they are.
Yeah.
I don't feel like. Yeah, I don't feel like it's intuition. I feel like I'm seeing something and it's just not mentally registering, so I can't like say the specific signs. The nights are colder than feels normal. What do you think? I
mean, it's Canada. Our nights are always cold. We don't have any humidity here, so
it's dry. So
even if it's like 100 degrees during the day, at night, as soon as the sun goes down, it's like it cools down tremendously. There's never a night, in my opinion, where it's too hot.
This is Ian picking a fight. This is Ian prepping for us to fight when the camera gets turned off. Because we have like a window air conditioner. All I ask is that like our 100-year-old brick house that gets like pounded with light or like direct sun for like 48 hours a day.
Our house is above ground. I will give you that.
Yeah, so it gets like, it feels like a pizza oven in our bedroom. All I ask is that we like turn on the window air conditioner like 2 hours before we go to bed to like take the heat out of the oven so that like I can sleep. And Ian's like, well, if you say you like it hot, but clearly you don't. Like, oh, I've heard women as they approach menopause, they start to have issues with adjusting properly to the heat. And I was like, yeah, they also like stab their husbands in the back with a fork. So turn on the freaking air conditioning.
That didn't happen.
Yet.
You're ad-libbing. I'd never say that sort of things.
What? You're saying I've threatened to stab you with a fork.
Well, yes, you have threatened to stab me before. And yet, here I am, my skin intact, perfectly without puncture wounds.
Well, that's because we don't eat
Holding
in the bed.
In all of my blood.
There's no nighttime heat anger forks conveniently positioned in the bedroom.
Well, I'm just saying, I still have all my blood.
It'd have to be a premeditated fork stabbing. And this is the reason why our channel loses comments. Okay, but we do have to go because we're...
Talking to you is more fun than cleaning the kitchen.
Yeah.
But if we don't clean the kitchen, Serena's parents will judge us when they drop the kids off tomorrow.
Yeah. They'll be like, you had an entire night, you didn't do anything.
You got drunk and went on YouTube?
And we'll be like, that's not true. We made $20 in tips. That's what we'll tell them. We'll be like, 3 people love us so much that they tipped us $20 to hang out with them.
And she'll be like, yeah, they probably tipped you to shut up.
They tipped you because they feel sorry for you because they see what a mess your house is. I watched this video and your house was a mess. And me and 50,000 women, we all made fun of how bad your house is.
Yeah. She doesn't need comments to make fun of us.
Okay. On that note, we should go.
Later.
Okay. See you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Oh, more tips. More tips.
Thank